Hello everyone and welcome to Sally and Bytes. Let's work out these NCERT problems, file handling in Python, for Class 12 students of computer science. With easy step-by-step explanation and practical implementation. Let's dive in and get started. Question 1. Subdivision A. Differentiate between text file and binary file. First, we can see about text file. Text files contain data that is readable by humans and is often used for storing text-based information, such as plain text documents, spreadsheets, or web pages. Examples include .txt, .csv, .xml, and .html files. They use character encoding like ASCII or UTF-8 to represent text characters, making the data easy to edit and understand using standard text editors. You can open and edit text files using programs like Notepad, Microsoft Word, or any text editor of your choice. Text files are versatile and commonly used for things like saving code in .py files, storing configuration settings, and keeping lists of items. Now, we can see about binary file. Binary files, on the other hand, store data in a format that is not meant to be read directly by humans. Instead, they are used for non-textual data like images, audio, executables, and more. Examples include .jpg, .mp3, .exe, and .pdf files. Unlike text files, binary files do not use character encoding. They represent data as sequences of zeros and ones, making them not easily editable with standard text editors. Binary files are used for specialized purposes, such as saving high-resolution images, program executables, or complex multimedia files like songs and videos. To work with binary files, you often need specific software or libraries tailored to the file format, and editing them typically requires specialized knowledge or tools. Question 1. Subdivision B. Differentiate between readline and readlines functions. Readline function is used to read a single line from a text file at a time, progressing sequentially through the file. It's often used within a loop to process the file line by line until it reaches the end. This function returns the current line as a string, including the new line character, \n, at the end. For example, you can use readline function to read the first line with line 1 equals file.readline function and the second line with line 2 equals file.readline function. Next is the readlines function, which is employed to read all lines from a text file and store them in a list. It reads the entire file or a specified number of lines if provided as an argument. The result of readlines function is a list of strings, where each element represents a line from the file, including new line characters. For instance, you can use lines equals file.readlines function to read all lines from a file and store them in the lines list for further processing. Let's recall. Readline function reads one line at a time and is useful for sequential processing of lines in a file. Whereas, readlines function reads all lines at once into a list, which is helpful when you need to work with the entire file's contents simultaneously. Both methods are commonly used with text files, especially when dealing with structured data stored in text files. Question 1. Subdivision C. Differentiate between write and writelines function. Write function. The write method is employed to write a single string or line to a file. It is typically used when you want to write one string at a time, and it does not automatically add new line characters to separate lines. For example, if you use write function to add lines to a file, you need to manually include \n to indicate line breaks. Next is the writelines function. On the other hand, the writelines method is utilized to write a list of strings or an iterable to a file. It is suitable for writing multiple lines or a collection of strings to a file, and it does not automatically insert new line characters between the elements. When you use WriteLines function, new line characters between the elements are preserved if you include them in the strings. Let's recall, write function is for writing individual strings or lines, and you need to add new line characters manually if desired. Whereas, WriteLines function is for writing lists of strings or iterables, and it maintains new line characters between elements if included in the strings. Both methods are common for writing data to text files, and your choice depends on whether you are writing single strings or multiple lines. Question 2. Subdivision A. Write the use and syntax for the following methods. Open method. Use of the open method. The open method is used to open files for reading, writing, or both in Python. Syntax is file_object equals open of file_name, access_mode. Here the first argument with open function is the name of the file to be opened, the path to a file, and the second argument describes the mode, that is, how the file will be used throughout the program, whether read mode or write mode or append mode. This is an optional parameter as the default mode is the read mode, reading. The file_object establishes a link between the program and the data file stored in the permanent storage. The access modes define the location of the file pointer, that is, from where the data has to be read and written to the file. Modes for opening a file are read, R mode, to read the file, write, W mode, to write to the file. Append, A mode, to write at the end of the file. You can see an example right here. Here myfile.txt is the file name, R is the access mode, R represents read mode. Remember to close the file using close function or use the with statement to ensure that the file is closed properly and resources are released when you're done working with it. Question 2. Subdivision B. Write the use and syntax for the following methods. Read method. Use. The read method is used to read data from an open file in Python. The syntax of read function is a fileObject.read function or fileObject.read of size. Here the size specifies the number of bytes to read from the file. So, the function may be used to read a specific number of characters from the file. If the value of size is not provided or a negative value is specified as size, then the entire file will be read. Now, look at the example. To illustrate read function by reading the entire data from a file, myfile.txt. Now look at the main.py Python code. Line 1. F equals open of myfile.txt, R. This line opens the file myfile.txt in read mode, R. The open function returns a file object that you can use to interact with the file. In line 2, data equals f.read function. Here, you use the read method of the file object, f, to read the entire content of the file and store it in the variable data. This method reads the entire content of the file as a single string. In line 3, it prints the content of the file, which is stored in the data variable. This will output the entire content of the file to the console. In line 4, finally, you use the close method to close the file. It's important to close the file after you're done with it to free up system resources and ensure that the file is properly closed. Now look at the right side text file, named myfile.txt. You can type any text to read. The content of the file myfile.txt seems to be as follows. Hello everyone. Welcome to Sally and Bytes. Now, you are working with Python files. So, when you run the main code, it will read the content of myfile.txt and print it to the console. You can check the output here, how the entire data from the text file is read and displayed. Let's see another example. Example 2. To illustrate read of n by reading only the first 10 characters from the file, myfile.txt. Now, look at the main code, main.py line 2, data equals f.read of 10. Here, you use the read method of the file object, f, with an argument of 10. This means you're reading the next 10 characters, or bytes, from the file and storing them in the variable data. In line 3, it prints the content stored in the data variable, which are the first 10 characters from the file. When you run the provided code, it will read the first 10 characters from the file and print them to the console as hello ever. In this case, only the first 10 characters of the file are read and printed. This demonstrates that you can read a specific number of characters, or bytes, from a file using the read method with an argument. Question 2. Subdivision C. Write the use and syntax for the following methods. In Python, the seek method is used to change the current position of the file pointer within a file. This method is commonly used when you want to move to a specific location within a file to read or write data at a particular position. The seek method is typically used with files that have been opened in binary mode or text mode. Seek method can be done in two ways: absolute positioning and relative positioning. Absolute positioning or referencing using seek method gives the file number on which the file pointer has to position itself. The syntax of seek method is f.seek of file _ location, where f is the file pointer. Example, f.seek of 20. This will give the position or file number where the file pointer has been placed. This statement shall move the file pointer to 20th byte in the file no matter where you are. Next is the relative positioning. Relative positioning or referencing using seek method has two arguments. Offset, the number of bytes to move the file pointer. The position from which it has to traverse. Syntax of seek method is f.seek of offset, from _what method, where f is the file pointer. The reference point is defined by the from _what argument. It can have any of the three values. 0 value sets the reference point at the beginning of the file by default. 1 value sets the reference point at the current file position. 2 value sets the reference point at the end of the file position. Let's see some examples. f.seek of -10, 1. From current position, move 10 bytes backward. f.seek of 10, 1. From current position, move 10 bytes forward. f.seek of -20, 1. From current position, move 20 bytes backward. f.seek of 10, 0. From beginning of file, move 10 bytes forward. Question 2. Subdivision D. Write the use and syntax for the following methods. Dump method. In Python, the dump method is not a built-in method for general use. It is specific to the pickle module, which is used for serializing and deserializing Python objects. The dump method is used to write a Python object to a binary file. Syntax of dump method is dump of object, file object. Object. This is the Python object you want to serialize and write to a file. File object. This is the file object, opened in binary write mode, where the serialized object will be written. Note: the file in which the data are to be dumped needs to be opened in binary write mode, WB. Example 1. Python program to write structure, dictionary to the binary file using pickle.dump method. Now, look at the main code, main.py. In line 2, the pickle module is imported. This module provides a way to serialize and deserialize Python objects, which allows them to be saved to files and read back later. In line 3, a dictionary named dict1 is created. This dictionary contains key-value pairs representing subjects and corresponding scores. In line 4, the program opens a binary file named bin_file.dat in write binary mode, WB. This mode allows you to write binary data to the file. In line 5, the pickle.dump function is used to serialize and write the contents of dict1 to the binary file f. This function takes two arguments, the object you want to serialize, in this case, the dictionary dict1, and the file object to write to. In line 6, a message dictionary added to binary file is printed to indicate that the dictionary has been successfully written to the binary file. In line 7, the file is closed using f.close to ensure that all data is properly written and resources are released. The program essentially writes the dictionary dict1 into a binary file named bin_file.dat using the pickle module for serialization. The data is stored in binary format, which can be used later to deserialize and reconstruct the original dictionary using the pickle.load function. After running the program, you should see the printed message dictionary added to binary file on the console, indicating that the dictionary has been successfully written to the binary file. If you were to examine the contents of the bin_file.dat file after running the program, you wouldn't see the actual dictionary content in a human-readable form. You can check the contents below of the screen. Instead, you would see the serialized binary data that represents the dictionary, which is not much in human-readable form. This binary data is meant to be interpreted and deserialized using the pickle module in a Python program to retrieve the original dictionary. Question 3. Subdivision A. Write the file mode that will be used for opening the following files. Also, write the Python statements to open the following files. A text file example.txt in both read and write mode. Now look at the answer. To open a text file named example.txt in both read and write mode in Python, you would use the R+ mode for opening. This mode allows you to read from and write to the file. Now, look at the Python code. In this code, R+ is the file mode that allows you to both read and write to the file. In line 3, open of example.txt, R+ opens the example.txt file in this mode. You can perform read and write operations on the file object. Remember to use a try, finally block to ensure that the file is properly closed, even if an exception occurs during the file operations. Closing the file is essential to release system resources and ensure that changes are saved. Question 3. Subdivision B. Write the file mode that will be used for opening the following files. Also, write the Python statements to open the following files. A binary file bfile.dat in write mode. To open a binary file named bfile.dat in write mode in Python, you would use the WB mode. This mode allows you to write binary data to the file. Now, look at the code. In this code, WB is the file mode that allows you to write binary data to the file. In line 3, open of bfile.dat, WB opens the bfile.dat file in this mode. You can perform write operations on the file object. As always, remember to use a try, finally block to ensure that the file is properly closed to release system resources and save your changes. Question 3. Subdivision C. Write the file mode that will be used for opening the following files. Also, write the Python statements to open the following files. A text file try.txt in append and read mode. To open a text file named try.txt in append and read mode in Python, you would use the A+ mode. This mode allows you to append data to the end of the file and read from it. Now, look at the code. In this code, A+ is the file mode that allows you to append data to the end of the file and read from it. In line 3, open of try.txt, A+ opens the try.txt file in this mode. You can perform both append and read operations on the file object. As always, remember to use a try, finally block to ensure that the file is properly closed to release system resources and save your changes. Question 3. Subdivision D. Write the file mode that will be used for opening the following files. Also, write the Python statements to open the following files. A binary file btry.dat in read-only mode. To open a binary file named btry.dat in read-only mode in Python, you would use the RB mode. This mode allows you to read binary data from the file. Now, look at the Python code. In this code, RB is the file mode that allows you to read binary data from the file. In line 3, open of btry.dat, RB opens the btry.dat file in this mode. You can perform read operations on the file object. As always, remember to use a try, finally block to ensure that the file is properly closed to release system resources when you're done reading from it. Question 4. Why is it advised to close a file after we are done with the read and write operations? What will happen if we do not close it? Will some error message be flashed? Now, look at the answer. Why close files? Close files to manage resources efficiently. Ensure data integrity by flushing buffered data to the file. Allow other processes to access files. Enhance code portability. Prevent hitting file descriptor limits, which can cause program failures. Consequences of not closing. Resource leaks and inefficiency. Risk of data loss. File locking issues. Reduced code compatibility. Potential program failures due to file descriptor limits. Error message. Failing to close a file won't show an immediate error message. Issues like resource leaks and data loss may occur gradually. It's best practice to close files explicitly to avoid problems. Question 5. What is the difference between the following set of statements, A and B? Now look at the code, A. In line 1, P equals open of practice.txt, R. In line 2, P.read, 10. Now, look at the code in B. In line 1, with open of practice.txt, R, as P. In line 2, x equals P.read function. Now, we can see the differences between A and B. File object handling. In A, you open the file and assign it to the variable P. You then read the first 10 characters from the file using P.read of 10. The file is not closed explicitly in this code. In B, you use a with statement to open the file and assign it to the variable P. Inside the with block, you read the entire contents of the file using P.read function. The file is automatically closed when you exit the with block. Now, let's see the scope. In A, the file object P is available in the scope where it's defined, which means you can continue to work with it after reading the first 10 characters if needed. In B, the file object P is only available within the with block. Once you exit the block, it is automatically closed and goes out of scope. Next is the read behavior. In A, you read the first 10 characters of the file but don't store the result in a variable or do anything with it. In B, you read the entire contents of the file and store it in the variable x. Question 6. Write a commands to write the following lines to the text file named hello.txt. Assume that the file is opened in append mode. Welcome my class, it is a fun place you will learn and play. To write the provided lines to a text file named hello.txt in append mode in Python, you can use the following commands. With open of hello.txt, A, as file::file.write of, welcome my class \n, file.write of, it is a fun place \n, file.write of, you will learn and play \n. In this code, we use the with statement to open the file hello.txt in A, append mode. This mode allows you to add content to the end of the file without overwriting the existing data. Then, we use the file.write method to write each line of text to the file. The \n character is used to insert a new line at the end of each line, ensuring that each line is on a separate line in the file. Question 7. Write a Python program to open the file hello.txt used in question number 6 in read mode to display its contents. What will be the difference if the file was opened in write mode instead of append mode? Now, look at the answer. Python program to open the hello.txt file in read mode and display its contents. Now, look at the Python code. With open of hello.txt, r as file : contents equals file.read function. Print of contents. The output will be welcome my class. It is a fun place, you will learn and play. Now, regarding the difference if the file was opened in write mode instead of append mode, write mode would overwrite the file's contents, potentially causing data loss, while append mode would add new data to the existing content without erasing it. Question 8. Write a program to accept string/sentences from the user till the user enters end2. Save the data in a text file and then display only those sentences which begin with an uppercase alphabet. Now look at the main code, main.py. In line 2, here, we set the variable file_name to the name of the text file where we'll save the input sentences. The file will be named sentences.txt and it will be created in the same directory as your Python script. In line 4, this line opens the file specified by file_name in write mode, w. The with statement is used to ensure that the file is properly closed after we're done with it. We're opening it in write mode to allow us to write data to it. In line 5, we enter a while loop that will continue indefinitely until we explicitly break out of it. In line 6, this line prompts the user to input a sentence and stores it in the sentence variable. In line 9, we check if the input sentence, after stripping any leading/trailing whitespace, is equal to end, case sensitive. If it is, we break out of the loop, effectively ending the input process. In line 10, if the user input is end, case sensitive, we exit the loop and continue with the next part of the code. In line 13, if the user input is not end, we write the input sentence to the file followed by a new line character \n to separate each sentence on a new line. In line 16, here, we open the same file in read mode, r, to read the saved sentences. Again, we use the with statement to ensure proper file handling. In line 17, we read all lines from the file and store them as a list of strings in the sentences variable. In line 19, we print a header for the sentences that start with uppercase letters. In line 20, we start a loop to iterate through each sentence in the sentences list. In line 21, we check if the first character of the current sentence of 0, is an uppercase letter using the isupper method. In line 22, if the first character is uppercase, we print the sentence, after stripping any leading/trailing whitespace, because it meets the condition of starting with an uppercase letter. This code ensures that end must be entered as it is, case sensitive, to terminate input, and it properly handles sentences that start with uppercase letters. Let's check the output. The program prompts the user to enter sentences until the user enters uppercase end, case sensitive. At first, the user enters this as a sample sentence. Then he enters lowercase end. So again the user is prompted to enter a sentence. The user enters another sentence starting with uppercase. Then the user types end in both lowercase and uppercase. Then third time the user is asked to enter a sentence. The user enters one more sentence. Now the user types end in uppercase only. Afterward, it displays the sentences that start with an uppercase letter, as per the condition specified in the code. This is a sample sentence. Another sentence starting with uppercase. One more sentence. The sentences.txt file will contain the sentences that the user entered during the execution of the program. Each sentence will be on a new line in the text file. You can see on the right side corner the sentences.txt file, which might look like based on the example. In this program, each sentence the user entered, including lowercase end, both lowercase and uppercase end, is saved in the file as a separate line. The program does not modify the input sentences or apply any formatting other than adding a new line character, \n, at the end of each sentence to separate them on different lines in the text file. You can try by your own by adding lowercase sentences, which will not be included. Question 9. Define pickling in Python. Explain serialization and deserialization of Python object. Pickling in Python is the process of converting Python objects into a binary format. It's used for saving complex data structures, example, lists, dictionaries, for storage or transmission, resulting in a binary file that's not human-readable. Serialization converts complex data structures into a format suitable for storage or transmission. It's commonly used to save the state of objects, lists, and dictionaries and is often referred to as pickling in Python. Deserialization is the process of converting a stored or transmitted format back into a complex data structure. It's the reverse of serialization, unpickling in Python, and is used to reconstruct objects, lists, and dictionaries from their serialized forms. Question 10. Write a program to enter the following records in a binary file. Item number integer, item name string quantity integer, price float. Number of records to be entered should be accepted from the user. Read the file to display the records in the following format: item number, item name, quantity, price per item, amount, to be calculated as price multiplied by quantity. Let's see the main code, main.py. In line 1, we start by importing the pickle module, which allows us to serialize and deserialize data. In line 4, we define a function called enter_record that takes a file as an argument. This function will be used to enter a single record and write it to the binary file. In line 5 to 8, here, we collect user input for the item number, item name, quantity, and price per item. In line 9, we calculate the amount by multiplying the quantity and price per item. In line 11 to 17, we create a dictionary named record to store the collected data. In line 20, we serialize the record dictionary using pickle.dump and write it to the binary file. This stores the record in a format that can be easily retrieved later. In line 23, next, we define a function called read_records that takes a file as an argument. This function will read and display records from the binary file. In line 24, we enter a loop to read records until there are no more records left in the file. In line 25 and 26, we use a try block to attempt to deserialize a record using pickle.load. If there are no more records, an EOF error exception will be raised, and we break out of the loop. In line 27 and 28, when an EOF error is caught, we break out of the loop because we've reached the end of the file. In line 31 to 36, if a record is successfully deserialized, we extract and display its individual fields, such as item number, item name, quantity, price per item, and amount. In line 39, we specify the name of the binary file where the records will be stored and retrieved. In this case, it's records.pkl. In line 41, we start a try block to handle any potential exceptions that may occur during file operations. In line 43, we use a with statement to open the file specified by file_name in write binary plus read mode, WB+. This mode allows us to both write and read data from the file. The with block ensures that the file is properly closed after operations are completed. In line 44, we prompt the user to enter the number of records they want to enter. In line 45, we enter a loop that iterates number_records times to enter and store the specified number of records. In line 46, we call the enter_record function to enter and serialize a record into the file. In line 49, after entering all records, we use file.seek of 0 to move the file pointer to the beginning of the file, preparing it for reading. In line 52, we print a message indicating that the entered records are about to be displayed. In line 53, we call the read_records function to read and display the records from the file. In line 55, we catch any exceptions that might occur during the execution of the program and handle them in the except block. In line 56, if an exception is caught, we print an error message indicating that an error has occurred, along with a description of the error, converted to a string. The program first asks the user to enter the number of records they want to input. The user enters 2 records. It then collects information for each record, item number, item name, quantity, and price per item, for the specified number of times. After entering the records, the program displays them, including the calculated amount for each record, price per item * quantity. You can enter more or fewer records based on the number you input at the beginning of the program, and the program will display them accordingly. The records.pkl file will not display directly as it contains binary data serialized using the pickle module. It's not meant to be human readable. Instead, it's used for storing and later retrieving Python data structures. The contents of the records.pkl file will appear as a binary stream of data when viewed in a text editor or when read programmatically. To view the data stored in records.pkl, you would need to use a Python program to deserialize the data and display it in a human-readable format. Hope you have understood well. Please try to work out all these programs for a more effective outcome. Thanks for watching. Watch the upcoming videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated with engaging content and never miss out on my latest videos.